So the Chicago Bulls decided to host a players-only meeting after night one of the regular season. You guys are hearing that correctly. They held a players-only meeting after night one of the regular season. My name is Patrick Siepman. Welcome into the Bulls Report here by Chat Sports. And listen, on today's show, it's going to be a little more of a podcast style where it's just me chopping it up. We're not going to have a lot of graphics moving around. But I kind of just want to rant and just talk about how disappointing that opening night loss truly was for the Oklahoma City Thunder. I know what you might be saying. Like, for all the people who are saying, oh, it's the new look Bulls. Like, they shot all these three-pointers. And it's like, I get it. Like, the Bulls shot 42 threes last night. We only averaged shooting 29.5 last year. But it didn't really matter because in the crunch moments of that game, when it was late in the third quarter and SGA was taking a complete grip on that basketball game, the Bulls went back to their old self. They went back to the DeMar DeRozan ISOs. They went back to the Zach LaVine just kind of, standing in the corner, looking for a catch and shoot, not really being too aggressive. Then it was still passive Patrick Williams in the second half, and it was just the Bulls couldn't get any sort of stops, and they couldn't get any buckets. Like, obviously, you're going to end up getting blown out, and that's what happened. And listen, we'll dive into the players-only meeting here. Just one last thought on the game yesterday. This team, if you wanted to be successful, you needed a defensive identity, and they have the personnel to do so. You got Caruso, Ayo, Jevon Carter, Patrick Williams, Torrey Craig. You got 5 great defenders right there. It just didn't matter yesterday. And it wasn't even like the Thunder bigs were the ones that were killing us. It was their guards. It was Jalen Williams and SGA getting downhill and just attacking the Bulls' point-of-attack defenders and beating them off the dribble the entire night. So, listen, last note of the game, you got to find a defensive identity. But let's just talk about the whole players-only meeting. Because honestly, I thought it was pretty funny thinking about it. Like, listen, so apparently Billy Donovan walked in the locker room last night, and he wanted to just address his basketball team. And apparently the team told him to get out, and they said, we need to have a players-only meeting. And apparently Billy Donovan, he was happy about this. I have never heard, and this is actually a shout out to Pat McAfee because he was talking about this a while ago because some NFL team had a players-only meeting, and he had this comment, and he was just saying, like, there has never been a players-only meeting in any sport where, like, people walked out of that and were like, hell yeah, like, let's go. We're ready to turn this page. Like, I just don't think a player-only meeting is by any means a positive. And the fact that it happened on night one is just what is so concerning for me because, listen, I feel like you head into the season. You're like, all right, it's going to be a long season. We just want to get progressively better every single night. And I think a well-run, a well-coached team with good leaders and good mentorship within that locker room, following the 20-point blowout loss to the Thunder, I would have just said, it's part of the process. This is what we're going to do. We're going to get better from here. We already changed our MO. We're shooting more three-pointers. We just got to knock them in. But instead, it kind of seemed like, oh, shit, we're hitting the panic button right now, and we're going to host a players-only meeting for the first game of the regular season. So, listen, that's the big news around the Chicago Bulls right now. I just can't believe that it's actually the case. And then also, Nikola Vucevic, apparently him and Billy Donovan got into it late in the second quarter about touches. This also kind of gave me a chuckle on my face because Nikola Vucevic, it is the year 2023, my friend, and you are a back-to-the-basket big. That has some sort of pick-and-pop game. He sets more pick and rolls than it feels like anybody in the league. But you are complaining about touches in the second quarter of the first game where you should realistically be the 5th scoring option on this unit. I just think it's an embarrassing. I think it's honestly an indictment on Billy Donovan that you have a guy coming up to you like that and saying, like, hey, I need more touches. Like, dude, Billy Donovan, get in control of your basketball team. Like, that's what I would say to him. Like, if Vooch came up to me and I was the coach of the Chicago Bulls, I'm like, and he's saying I need more touches, I'll be like, you know what, Vooch? How about you play some effing defense? How about you move the ball a little bit better? How about you finally take a wide open three, which also frustrated me with Vooch about the game yesterday. Like, the amount of times it would be a pick and pop or right down or coming down the floor in transition. Vooch, wide open three at the top of the key. Shoot the shot. I understand you're not a great three-point shooter, but what have the Bulls tried to do this offseason? They said, we are going to shoot more threes, and Vooch just constantly just passed up wide open looks. It was actually a play in the fourth quarter. Him and Kobe White were running a little pick and pop. Kobe White throws a little kickback pass to Vooch. Vooch wide open, pump fakes, doesn't get the shot up, and Kobe White literally throws his hands up in the air and is like, what the hell is going on right now? I don't know, man. This basketball team, they're just in a tough spot. And I'm going to dive into a little bit more here after I do tell you guys about PrizePicks, about just how bad of a spot the Bulls truly are in right now. But hey, shout out to PrizePicks, because even though the Bulls are bad, PrizePicks makes these games a whole lot more enjoyable to watch. If you guys go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and just use that code CLNS, you'll get a first deposit match up to $100. They got a ton of plays for the NBA season. It's a ton of fun. It just honestly makes the games like that much more enjoyable. And hey, we got the Bucks-Sixers game tonight, and I'm getting involved. I'm going to take the more on Damian Lillard, 19.5 points. They actually cut you a deal right there, so make sure you guys get tuned or get hooked up with that. Then Giannis, I'm going to take his more of 27.5. I'm also going to ride with Embiid, 28.5. I'm going to take the more on that as well. Giannis and Embiid, they always go at it, so I'm expecting the same thing tonight. But hey, get hooked up today, prizepicks.com/CLNS, and use that code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Make sure to put that link for you guys in the comment section and the description of today's show. Get hooked up today. Check it out, prizepicks.com/CLNS, code CLNS. Let's wrap up today's show just really talking about how bad this Bulls team is set up for the future, because I was saying this during our watch party last night, and we went live for the game here on the channel, and I was just kind of saying, like, how far away the Bulls are from a championship compared to the Thunder. Because, listen, the Bulls, their situation right now, let's just call it like it is. You got 3 older players that just don't really live up to what they're getting paid. Like, that's just how it is, and you don't really have a lot of young talent either. Then you take a team like the Thunder, for example. There is young talent across the board. I mean, I was watching the Thunder yesterday, and I'm just like, man, well, they have the superstar in SGA. They have this up-and-comer in Chet Holmgren. They have a year 2 player in Jalen Williams. They have this guy, Josh Giddey, and I'm just like, man, they got 4 dudes that they could really build this nucleus around. Then you still throw in role players like Lou Dort. I'm like, dude, the Thunder, listen, they're a good basketball team. And I was thinking about, like, what other teams in the league, like, obviously I'm a diehard Bulls fan. I'm never going to switch up on my Bulls. I'll be a Bulls fan the rest of my life. I was born into it. But, like, I was looking at, like, other teams in the league, like, I think the Bulls are in the worst spot in the entire NBA. Like, the worst spot. And you may say, like, all right, what about the Houston Rockets? Well, Houston Rockets got a young guy in Jabari Smith that could be an all-star. Like, I don't know. You just start looking around the league, and it's like the Bulls are legitimately in the worst spot. Like, they have the least amount of young talent, I think, in the entire association. And it's just embarrassing. Like, even like the Brooklyn Nets. Well, they got Bridges. They got Cam Johnson. Like, they got real basketball players. Like, the Bulls got Zach LaVine and old DeMar DeRozan, who can't really play too well anymore, and probably the most overrated player, most overpaid player in the league in Nikola Vucevic. Like, I don't know. I mean, you could go down the Eastern Conference. Like, obviously Bucks, Celtics, Knicks, Cavs, like all those top dogs, Heat, they're all better, but Pacers, they got Halliburton. The Hornets, they got at least LaMelo. The Hornets, like, at least the Wizards. Like, the Wizards have no talent. You could say, like, yes, for just this year, I'd probably want to be a Bulls fan compared to a Wizards fan, because they got Jordan Poole and a bunch of nobodies, but at least they're going to be drafting high next year. And that's what's so frustrating is, like, yes, I think this is a terrible Bulls basketball team. I just don't think they'll sniff the playoffs, but I don't think they'll be bad enough to lose 60 games. Like, they're probably going to be 33 and something this year, or 35 and something. And you're not even going to be close to the playoffs, and it's just frustrating, man. And that's why I just kind of woke up today just a little disappointed and just mad at the front office, because you got to clean house. Like, it's just what it's got to be. Listen, that's the news of the day. The Bulls, they called a players-only meeting after night 1 of the regular season. Can't believe that was the video I was going to make today, man. A players-only meeting after getting blown out by the Thunder. But that's the story of today. Thank you guys so much for watching today's edition of the Bulls Report. Just want to chop it up with you guys, go a little more podcast style. Pretty busy day here at the office. Still want to get something out for you guys. But, yeah, that's the news. Zach LaVine called a players-only meeting. See you guys next time. Hopefully it gets better than this, man. But go frickin' Bulls, baby.